topic of variable costing and comparing that to absorption costing, there's an interesting sidebar to all of this that I want to demonstrate for you, and it's kind of an ethical issue that I'm going to demonstrate for you, and I'll leave you at the end with that ethical question. Let's just assume for the moment we have a product that sells for $30 and its variable costs in total are 10. The fixed manufacturing is $150,000 and the fixed selling and administration expense is $100,000. We're going to build 20,000 units, and the variable cost per unit then is $10. The absorption or the absorbed cost per unit is $17.50, which is the $10, and the 20,000 units that we're going to produce divided into the 150,000 units, so we add the $7.50. So under absorption costing, which is the methodology with which under GAAP you're required to report, is $17.50, but for internal purposes we're going to be looking at a variable cost of $10. We're going to produce 20,000 units, so if we apply the break-even formula of fixed cost divided by unit CM, we find that the break-even point for this company is, with this cost structure, is 12,500 units. So with that in mind, let's do something that I think you might find interesting. We're going to produce 20,000 units, but we're only going to sell 12,000. So we are producing too many. And we produced too many because we wanted to. We thought we were going to sell more, but a couple of big sales didn't come in, variety of reasons. But let's take a look and see what the implication of selling 12,000 is, which I want to remind you is less than the break-even point. So if we do sell 12,000 units at $30, we're going to sell $360,000 under variable costing or absorption costing. Doesn't make any difference. The variable cost of goods, however, is $10 times those same 12,000 units, or $120,000, yielding us a contribution margin of $240,000. And since our combined fixed cost of manufacturing and fixed cost of selling are $250,000, clearly we're selling below the break-even point. So under variable costing, we have a loss of $10,000. Under absorption costing, as I said, the sales are $360,000. Cost of goods sold, however, is going to be those same 12,000 units times the $17.50 fully absorbed cost, which, if my math is correct, is $210,000, yielding us a gross profit of $150,000. Subtracting our remaining sales and administration expenses of $100,000, lo and behold, we have a gross profit of $50,000, or a difference here of $60,000. Obviously, the reason for that is we have 8,000 units in excess of inventory at the difference in the cost of the products of $7.50, thus $60,000 is the difference. Now, it'll reconcile itself out, don't get me wrong, as long as we don't overproduce again in the following period. So what I'm getting at here, it is possible to generate under absorption costing a profitable P&L, although you are actually selling product below your contribution margin and variable costing calculation for break even. So the ethical question is, would you do that? Well, no person in his right mind would intentionally overbuild just to cover and create a profitable situation, because at the end of the day, if the next quarter you're going to ship 12,000 units, or the next month you're going to ship 12,000 units, you're certainly not going to build 12,000 because you've got 8,000 in inventory. There have probably been times when people are tempted to do this sort of thing. As a matter of fact, I believe there's a problem in your textbook that kind of talks about how many would you build in order to generate a profit. The ethical issue is you don't do that, but that game can be played. I'm certainly not condoning it, but it's conceivable that people have done it. So the other key walkaway here is variable costing. Profit only changes with increases or decreases in sales. Under absorption costing, profit can change not only by differences in sales revenue, but also differences in production. And in this case, it illustrates it perfectly clearly, I hope. So take that with a bit of a grain of salt. I don't mean to condone any of this, but I just want you to see that there potentially could be some ethical issues that someone might have to face. Um, and keep in mind that absorption costing will yield a higher profit when you produce more than you sell. And at some point, you could even do it above the, you could produce enough such that you're selling below the break-even point and still making money. Hope that helps.